So I'm going to try and do this in one take, so it may come out a little bit stuttered. My bikes come without the inlet manifold rubbers, so I bought the Carburettor to engine ones from Medina, and I'm looking to have a go at making the inlet manifolds between the carb and the Airbox. They appear to be exactly the same part, I just need 4 of them. However, been unable to find any looking online, so I've made some drawings to try and connect the two, to make 2 to connect the carb to the inlet Airbox. This is the first one off the carb. Added a support so when it prints it doesn't just sag down. It does mean I've had to cut it out with a Stanley knife. This is the part that will go on the Airbox with an overlap tube, and this is the first 2 bits I printed out. Fairly messy and ended up the wrong sizes. Weirdly, the bike doesn't seem to be symmetrical, so although the 4 parts should be the same, the forward cylinder seems to have the carburettor a little bit closer than the rearward cylinder. So I've had to modify them about 5 iterations through. I've ended up with these 2 designs. This is the one that fits to the carburettor. There's a spigot end that slides over the carburettor and then a plain tube to go into the other side, and the other side has got a similar spigot to fit on the Airbox, and then an overlap tube so that the 2 parts can fit together. And ultimately I expect I'll have to put some silicone seal in it or not. So if I swing that round, you can see that one bit slides into the other bit, and so I can twist them at the right angle. Finally printed off. Took me a while to get the temperature right so the TPU is nice and smooth. There is a bit of stringing where it sort of slacks, but it goes there, and that worked. Now I thought I'd have a go at a battery tray, converting it to 12 volts. The person who rebuilt the engine put a 12 volt alternator on, so I've got a 12 volt battery. Printed out my tray, fitted my battery into it, fitted the battery into the thing, and because I'm a tight ass, the battery strap is just a piece of inner tube at the moment. Front headlight support brackets, they're relatively expensive, so I bought some cheap eBay specials, but they didn't come with the rubber clamps. So again, just drawn myself up some designs, gone into CAD and drawn up a 3D model of what I want. Not perfect, but it'll do. First version, when I get to the printout, anyone who's observant might spot the deliberate mistake with the inside diameter. So I've printed those out, slit them so I can slide them over the fork tubes and clamp them in. Stupidly though, I thought I had 39mm forks, not 32. And then I thought I'd have a go at the tail light rubbers. So again, measured up, drawn my drawings. You can buy these as well from Medina. They're not as expensive as I thought they would be, and I'll explain why they might be better later on. So again, in CAD, this is the one that fits inside the bracket towards the mudguard, little indent so it fits into the cutout, and there are some M5 countersink screws that will hold the 2 halves together either side of the headlight bracket. And then when the 2 halves are fitted together, they sandwich themselves there, and then the 2 bolts off the back of the headlight, there we go, the 2 bolts fit through and clamp the tail light to there. This is me doing my dry fit. I wish I'd done it with the bracket off, but there we go. The 2 countersink screws I found were just ones I had lying around, so they're not perfect either. Much swearing and faffing around to get this fitted. We'll speed it up a bit so I don't bore you. And there we go, they're overlong. Cutting down, I need to order some of those. So that's me fitting it, and then of course when I put the tail light on and the lamp bracket bit, I discovered I'd put it on upside down, so instead of the yes, there we go, on upside down, but at least I can see it's fitted. I think I've got the wrong tail light because it wants a brake light and a festoon light. I have a feeling it should just have one tail light in there with 2 filaments, but there we go. 50 quid a pop. I'm not going to buy another one, I'll make that work. So once on there, it's firmly attached, possibly too firmly, and this is why I may end up buying the bits, because the TPU I've used is 95A Sure. That's a measure of the hardness. So, as I said, tail light upside down, firmly attached, probably too firmly, so I may invest in the Medina or have a go with some rubber material. Not very good photography, but trying to show the inside part against the bracket with my overlong M5 screws, and there's the outside part, but there we go. So that's the TPU printing. Now a bit of an update about the engine. I've another video that I'm working on showing me fitting the electronic cleaner, and this is me trying to start it yesterday. Oh dear, didn't spot the flames. Having to use some carburettor cleaner as engine starter. It just doesn't seem to want to draw through the fuel to get started. You can hear it popping and banging, and set the throttle so I can set it in a set position without doing that, but it just doesn't really want to take. Tried it a few weeks ago. Here we go, same thing, carburettor cleaner to get it started, and run over half throttle. If you keep the revs up, as soon as I knock the choke off or let the revs die, it just wants to stop running. Thanks to the burning and the suggestion of the kickstart mechanism, that's quietened it down. I think it's just the front tappets I need to readjust. And my plan now is to borrow an ultrasonic cleaner and clean the carbs out properly, and I have some new jets on the way. So that's it for now.